Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. How we're recompiling F of MPEG from scratch. But like, why? Why though? Are we doing gentle Linux things? Is that what I'm hearing? AI is sleepy for a completely different set of reasons this morning. Because FreeBSD's package does not have FF play? Oh. Do you need FF to play? Why can't you just install something like mplay? We are going to be writing... What are we doing? So, normally it would be included, but like, why do you need it though? Less than a gig of RAM left? None. Oh. It's because you have a shitbox. I forgot. I forgot. Wait, are you watching me on the shitbox? I was about to be very exciting. Very excited. This is the exciting part of the stream. You're watching with your main laptop? I see. This is the exciting part of the stream where I'm just scrolling through channels, shamelessly self-promoting myself. Isn't that the best part? Unfortunately, YouTube from Terminal can not watch streams. It not being able to and you not trying are two very different things, AI thinks. Everwind is a novel take on the RPG and sandbox survival genre from first-person perspective. Well, now that that's done, I should probably push this here button. And we should talk a little bit about what the plan is for today. So, I was pretty sure that in the shader part... No, it wouldn't be shader. It would be compute pipeline. So I was pretty sure that in the compute pipeline section, we updated the test file. Actually, let me confirm that I'm not small CPU. Yeah, I thought that we updated the test file to test compute pipeline stuff a little bit. But I can find no evidence for this. So we're gonna update the test file here to test the compute pipeline a little bit. Sound good? So then after that, we're going to try and fling a few colors around. I wanna write some of the code to do color conversions. Oh hey, look. It's not NeoFetch. Crazy. Definitely did not take you an entire afternoon to know why PK package didn't work. I see. Okay. So, if I remember how the system works correctly, we should be going device.create compute pipeline. And it wants an entry point. So we're gonna need a shader. So device.create shader. We're going to start from WGSL so that the stream title's a lie and we know what we're doing a little bit. And then we're going to make that no longer a lie. Map read. Miss map writing. Huh. Or stylizer, API usage, map read. So I guess first order of business. What the heck's going on with the map read write stuff over there? Can a buffer be bound both readable and writable? Or am I going insane? A buffer cannot be read both readable and writable. Cool. I don't think we need... Oh, we do need one more. We need... Stylizer, API usage, storage. I hope it's storage and not storage attachment. I believe storage attachment is for textures, and maybe we should update the naming to make that more clear. So we're gonna need to do a copy then. So if we want a storage buffer, we're gonna have to copy data into it. So auto CPU equals that. We can't. Actually, we'll call this the read buffer. Or the results buffer. And then we're gonna go auto buffer equals device dot create and write buffer. Stylizer API usage, copy source, and stylizer API usage, storage. And we're going to copy it from the byte stream. So what we're doing, I hope, is that we're making a buffer that we can copy stuff from and bind to a shader and manipulate. And these should be auto-releasing. Cool. So we got our two buffers now. And I believe after a computation, what we're going to want to do, I'm going to create the result buffer. And we want to buffer dot so result buffer dot copy from using our device and the buffer. So we want to copy all of the data across. Actually, there might be a command for that in the command encoder. So we'll see. We'll see. So we're gonna go device dot create shader from web GPU. So we'll make some raw shader code here. Raw strings need capital R. Okay. Now that you've tried to make a window and show it with X11, did you succeed? You think you'd rather stick to SDL? You'd rather stick to the wrapper over all the things instead of the raw platform API? That's reasonable. So what do you want our shader to do? We want there to be a read-write buffer, which I believe is how you write this in what's it called? In slang, buffer. And I think we want a location 0 on that, maybe? Who decided that showing the window is mapping it to the display? You mean probably memory-wise, maybe, but why? The X11 people, apparently. I apparently don't remember how to write WGSO. Now we're very correct on the writing in shader language. I don't know. Binding points, storage buffers, var storage. Oh. Var storage read and write. I'm gonna call this buffer, and this is of, I believe it's U32. U32. And we'll put it at binding 0 in group 0. Cool. So now we want a function compute, and this is an at compute function. And we need to take in a computation. So what do we have for built-ins? You kind of lost context at the moment. So at the moment, we're writing a little bit of shader code in my graphics API. So technically it's web GPU, but it's a thin wrapper on web GPU right now. And the goal is we have the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 that we've sent to the GPU. And I want to write a shader that does something to them, probably like multiply them by 2. I just now thought contact was a pun. I see. And once we've multiplied by some number, I want to read them back and we want to check that the numbers have updated. Is that enough context? And so step 1, we're going to get it working in WGSO. Work group size 1 sounds fine for what we're doing. And then step 2, is we're going to get it working in slang. It's not GLSL, it's WGSL. It's the other one. And then we're going to work in yet the other one. Actually, what we're going to be moving to after this is going to look more. It's going to be. It's a shader language based off HLSO. So var I equals id.x. And so what we want to do is we want to go buffer I equals buffer I times 5, I guess. And we're going to see if this works. Which would then mean that this is 5, 10, 15, 20. And then we need device dot create compute pipeline. And entry point, I believe, is name. No, it's stage. A stylizer, API, shader, stage, compute. And we're going to map that to, I believe it's a pair, but we have to take the shader, so auto compute shader. I'm not done with my exam yet. And after the new year, and semester 2 starts right away. I'm sorry. That sounds awful. Compute shader, and we're mapping it to compute. What exactly is an entry point? I don't need the stage part. Was there something else? Label. We're not interested in labeling. So auto pipeline. And so now that we have a buffer, we want to pipeline dot, no, we want device dot create a command encoder. It will be a one-shot. Auto commands equals true on one shot. And commands dot. Oh, hey, look, there's copy buffer to buffer. So bind compute group device pipeline dot create bind group device 0 bindings is just a single buffer binding. So stood so span from value, and that value is going to be a pointer to our buffer. Bind group. Binding. Okay, we'll do it the real way. So, stood vector of stylizer, API, bind group, binding. Actually, let's do an array. 1 bindings equals memory address of buffer. What exactly is a binding? We'll do a buffer binding for starters. And we need that stylizer, API, bind group, buffer binding. Cool. And offset 0, full size is fine. Can we not span from value? Can we not do a binding? From this? Cool. What do you mean there's a second progress bar? That's not good. So we got the compute group. Actually, let's find... Let's bind compute pipeline first, so device pipeline. We'll bind the compute group. And then we will dispatch work groups on the device. And the work groups are going to be 511. And then we're going to copy buffer to buffer device. We'll make sure that result buffer already exists. So we're going to copy to result buffer from buffer. And then we're going to one-shot submit. And install Clang for the 3rd time? You just need a lot of Clang, bro. And we don't need to store this. We just need to dot. Oh, hopefully this does. Okay. It's all C++17 compilation. Why can't you do that with GCC? This is array, U32. Can I just do a dynamic size array? Entry point blank doesn't exist in shader module. And create compute pipeline, so entry point name isn't coming through. FFmpeg makefile. Oh, hey, this guy has GCC 15. Why don't we just ignore that, install separate C89, C99, then install Clang for at least 3 times? This is fine. Is that not what you want? You don't want just like 10 versions of Clang? So, entry point, compute shader pointer. Make sure that device and shader are good. Cool. And that would be because we're using C-string from view instead of to web GPU, I believe. If I had to guess. Yep. So we printed hello world. Are we now stalled? Stud, see out. At least better than me trying to make a C file that rebuilds itself. With Soding's knob. See out. Computation finished. Does FFmpeg not have a CMake list? Okay, where are we getting stuck? Yes, that's... Huh? Guess that's yours. You added a CMake list? Is that what you're saying? We bind the pipeline. We bind compute group. We dispatch. We copy. Oh, shoot. That happens in the pre-steps. That's not gonna work, I don't think. So we are gonna have to do the separate copy from. Oh hey, Torvald's Linux, and he's gone. He's not gone. What do you mean he's gone? He, like, actively contributes to the kernel still, bro. Hey, it's a Battering. How are you doing, Mr. Battering? Are fun things happening, Battering? Will you pull up Discord real quick? Copy from. Cool. Map. Is this where we're... This is where we're stalling. Cool. Why are we stalling in map? Where did I mess up here? We're not mapping for writing. Well, that's good. So we map async. Let's confirm that all of that is good. Future ID is 4. And this should all be good. Huh? Huh? You were resting today since you were a bit sick? Oh no, I hope you're feeling better. Huh? Why did we get stuck? Why did we freeze there? Now I'm confused. Okay, well, bright side is the computation seems to be working. And let's launch this to the error manager. Computation finished. And it's freezing this time. Why? Now watch. When I run it to the debugger, it's not gonna freeze. Right? I am talking good. Is this the ray tracing? No. So about that, I was falling asleep last night and I realized that I did not have the environment set up properly. And so it was either do I stress to get it set up or do I just do something else? So we're just gonna do something else. I'm so sorry for all the Notepad++ users. Wait, why am I... Oh, this is fine, actually. Operation failed? Huh? But now you use Vim? I'm sorry. The hype about Vim is that if you spend enough time practicing, you can get just as fast with it as someone who practices with like keyboard shortcuts and anything else. Except you don't need a mouse. That's the hype about it. Why does this only map sometimes? Vim is fun because it's not just Vi. That's not an answer, bro. Modern Vi is fun because it's not just Vi. Huh? So when we normal around, we get stuck. Okay, is it better? Auto future equals result buffer dot map async device. And then we go device dot 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 process events. And then we go auto ints equals future dot get. And then cast it to an int pointer. Is a casual university freshman with not much money. To be fair, you seem pretty knowledgeable, substantially more knowledgeable than the average university freshman. I would guess that means that your future might be a little less bleak than you think it is. If I had to guess. I see what you did there. Well, bye, Battering. Thank you for stopping by. Fun fact, you're a med student. Drink a sleepy pill? Good night, battery. You're a med student. If you get in, you're a med student or a pre-med student? Because my understanding is that if you get into med school, you're like set. You're guaranteed. Pre-med for now. Hmm. Then I guess my what's the phrasing? My encouragement about med school is a little less strong, and we're still stuck. Why are we stuck? But this here is like literally the code that map runs. Is FFmpeg being bad? Why are you stuck? Why are we getting stuck on the future not get? The future should be valid. And the future's already been retrieved. Does checking if a future is valid access it? Is that the problem here? Huh. It's just asking me for options, then it made me wait for 5 minutes when I least expected it strikes. Oof. Does processing events at least once do anything for us? future look like before and after we process events? So before... Status is 1. Achieved true. All events. Huh. So what happens if we update map to be using Medulla? And now out here, can we just auto ints equals int pointer result buffer dot map device? To this day, I still don't know how to use GDB, by the way. It's not hard. There's like 3 relevant commands. R, when you start off, it's not going to do anything until you R an executable name, so run an executable name. And then N steps you to the next line and continues until there's a breakpoint. And you can set a breakpoint with B. So like it's not particularly difficult. If that makes you feel any better. Also, if you use VS Code, with CMake tools, it literally becomes you push that button and you click the red circle over here to set a breakpoint. And then we have next line, jump into function, jump out of function, and restart buttons up here. Now I can probe why my X11 window won't show up or anything now. Happy to help a little bit, I guess. It still gets stuck. Why stuck? How long have I been doing C++ for? A little long. C++ was my first semester of college, which was 8 years ago. For whatever that's worth. Does the future already have a value at this point? That is 1. Retrieved true once 2. So we got the future. Hmm. Hmm. So it works. It works. 3, 4. Use Arch. Windows is bloatware. Use Arch. Windows is bloatware, you say? Use Arch, you say? Also, hello, DSdev. How are you? Is this AI? Well, I'm not sure how to answer that question. Are you judging me for being what I am? Um, we were on count 3, I believe, right? And we're stuck. Hey, apparently my GCC 15 did not have GDB. Nice. Nice. Wait. Nice. Is there a separate... There's usually a separate GDB package, though, to be fair. Why? Am I talking like a robot? John, you didn't tell me... You didn't tell me that the audio was scuffed. That better? Hopefully that's a little bit better. Bup. Why does sometimes it get stuck? The sometimes part is very fun. By the way, your headphones are pretty bad, so I thought it was normal. Ay. By the way, which library is this? This is Stylizer, which is the graphics API that I'm currently working on writing. So, it worked. We're trying to get data off the GPU and onto the CPU right now. It worked. But sometimes the future is getting stuck, and I do not understand why. Except now it's not. And I don't understand why. Okay, if we run it, does it get stuck? Oh, it is running. It gets stuck. So it's not getting stuck when we debug. But it is getting stuck when we run it. I hate everything about what's happening right now. Does that answer your question, DSdev? Unintentional RNG generator? Yay. I'm so happy. Oh, and now it's not stuck? And now it is stuck. But it's not stuck in debug. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, I wonder if part... No... Let's print out the pointer. Not stuck. Not stuck. Let's count 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So at the moment, what we're making it is incredibly simple. Am I working somewhere? Yeah. I am at a place and I am working. Does that count? W- you're, you're new here? Well, you showed up at the perfect time to ask that question, Mr. Insocial. Also, hello, Mr. Darkblade. So what are we doing? Right now, I'm working on the graphics API for the game framework that I'm working on. It's just a very thin wrapper over WebGPU right now. But the goal is I have this data, 1, 2, 3, 4, that we're uploading to the GPU. And then we have this compute shader that just multiplies all of that GPU data, each entry by 5. So then we run it and we're trying to get the data back off. So 1, 2, 3, 4 multiplied by 5 should be 5, 10, 15, 20. And so we're just checking that that's the case. But the actual bit where we copy the data back from the GPU to the CPU is getting stuck a lot. And I'm trying to figure out why. We keep getting stuck there. Except now that I've added this print, we're not getting stuck there. Which is something I've noticed about like threading state. If you print out the threading state, sometimes it magically fixes itself for no reason. For some reason, FreeBSD's curses based needs F of MPEG, which I've been building for 2 hours now. Well, that's fun. And it's stuck. Why does it get stuck? Huh? John, why does it get stuck? After we debug. Am I not? Oh, you know what it probably is? Is the fact that I'm not unmapping causing issues? I'm willing to bet the fact that I'm not unmapping is causing issues. Use Vulkan, it's a pain. Is OpenGL easier? Yes. OpenGL is easier. Yes. The answer is yes. Can you tell me more? What are the situations where this breaks? I'm so confused. Aye. Oh well. Oh well, we're gonna we're gonna pretend it's okay. You're impressed writing all this without AI? Thank you. Which STL am I using? Uh, for this test, it's 3. For what I'm doing, well, I don't think it really matters. Because, like, the only part of the API we're using is, like, make window. So far. Um... Hmm... Okay. So, we said we were going to do slang. It's working asterisks. So let's convert the shader over to slang. Let's create shader from source, stylizer, API, shader, language, slang, source. Cool. Do I need something else? Am I missing one? You think you should add a key event or something to send STL quit event later? The loop is checking for STL quit. And like hitting the X button is an STL quit. So I don't see a need to like bind escape at the moment or something like that. Oh, I need stage. Stylizer, API, shader. Stage, compute. Now is it happening? Just for fun. But like the goal of this test file is to be like a minimum demonstration of what the graphics API does. And so I don't need like an extra 20 lines of STL code to like handle keyboard, you know? Cool. So this won't work because we're trying to put, what's it called? WGSL code into slang. So how do we make a buffer? Slang, shader, slang. Actually, HLSL, compute shader. Well, you might have an idea why it quits slower. It depends. Full event. Does it quit slow? Oh, I just ran it. It's gonna crash. how do we create a compute shader in SDL? So SV dispatch thread ID. Shader slang. Documentation. Getting user guide. And I want... Where is the... target specific features. WGSL, and I want built-in global. I want SV dispatch thread ID. So for this, I believe we want compute and num threads 111. And this is void compute. And we're going to have a vector int 3. And it will, oh no, we need colon here. And its ID. Oh boy, coding and shading languages you don't know sure is fun. So now int I equals ID index.I. Now we need the buffer. Structured buffer. Read write structured buffer. Register use 0. Oh. Or a byte address buffer. Structured buffer. Does slang. Do we have an array type? Same as C. So let's make a structured buffer of an int array. And we're gonna call it buffer. W for not using AI. Do I stream daily? No. But the plan is that over winter break, we're gonna try and stream close to daily. But right now we stream on Thursday nights and Saturday mornings. Pacific time. Want performance? Make it in assembly. Create your own library. But like, no. Like that's honestly like bad advice in this domain. Because if you want performance, you want to be using GPU code, and you cannot code GPU stuff yourself. At least not in like anything resembling a cross-platform way. Because actually, I don't think you even can. Because the GPU manufacturers keep the details of their implementations all to themselves. So I don't. I think you literally cannot create your own library for accessing the GPU. You have to wrap an existing one, which is what I'm doing here. I'm getting the closest you can to creating your own library for accessing the GPU. And then this would be buffer I equals buffer I times 5. Let's see if this explodes. In software rendering case, it's necessary, but like, who does software rendering? Like, people teach software rendering so that people can like learn how rendering techniques work, and then like no one actually does software rendering. How long have you spent learning C++? And what other languages do you know? I started learning C++ first semester of college, which was 8 years ago now. Let's go down the list of I can recall off the top of my head. Well, okay, actually, Tom, do you want languages I know or languages I have written a couple lines of code in? Because if it's languages, or do you want languages that I can confidently write in? Because if it's languages I know, that list is probably C++. It's probably just C++. Because I know how much I don't know in like every other language. But if you want ability to write code in, I know C, I know C++, I know C#. Languages that you know well, like C++, that list is exactly C++. There is no other language that I know as well as C++, not even close. Where do we explode? Unknown attribute compute. Shader compute. What is the best way to master a language outside college, since it just teach you the fundamentals? Less rep, keep it? Nice. The answer to that question is it's the best way. So in college, so evocative statement from a college professor. Int array is non-addressable and cannot be used in structured buffer. Evocative statement from a college professor. If you go to college, they're not going to teach you how to code. College will teach you like how do I phrase this? What are the words I'm looking for here? Going to college teaches you enough about. Wait. Isn't a structured buffer already an array? Going to college teaches you enough about programming that you can like get your trained somewhere else. So they don't teach you anything interesting about programming. They teach you like basic logic, right? So what I've been told by my industry partners, right, is that our average students aren't hireable because they don't know how to code. So going to college doesn't teach you how to program. Going to college gets you a piece of paper that makes companies consider you. That's the point of going to college at this point. Like, every software engineering pool or all of its subdisciplines are so saturated that you need the piece of paper from college for a company to even look at you. Or you need some sort of really cool open source contribution. You need something for the company to even look at you. But college doesn't teach you how to code. Only the students who went out and like learned by themselves are know how to code. If that makes sense. Failed to find the compute entry point. How is the job market for game devs? Atrocious. Like all the big companies overhired a lot during COVID, and now they're downsizing. And so there's a big pool of like super experienced people in the market. And so trying to like find a job as a junior dev in games is, I'm not going to say impossible, but I have seen 0% of my students succeed. You literally learned C++ and Python on my own. My professors just read the slides. You guys know some better DSA? What is DSA? Where do you suggest to learn a language and do some practical projects? My answer is you just start. So you just find some tutorial series that teaches you like what code looks like, and then you make something. So shameless self-promotion, right? It's not like I have a channel or anything. /@Doxy AI. It's not like I have a channel or anything with a playlist of really basic C++ tutorials in like 1-minute chunks. And then once you've done something like that, right? You pick some project. I'm assuming that if you found me, you're interested in games. So I would go for the 20 games challenge. So the idea of the 20 games challenge is where is the list? DSA is data structures and algorithms. The idea, this is not the list, challenge. So the idea of the 20 games challenge is there's like 10 levels here. And the idea is you make a game and it teaches you something about 1-minute chunks. That's so long. Fuck you. The idea here is what are the words I'm looking for? You make a game, right? And it teaches you something about like game design. So you make something really simple, like Pong or Flappy Bird. So basically the goal here is just to like create something. Get stuff on the screen and moving. And then after that, you make it more complicated. So you make something like Breakout. And that builds on what you learned in the last one and adds some more complexity to it. Does that make sense? So you start following along with 20 games challenge, and it should give you a breadcrumb trail of really simple games to like Minecraft or Portal is like the top. So really simple, building you up incrementally to something complex. I don't have a great answer for what projects you should do if you're not a games person. I've heard people say like make a database, make like an Excel spreadsheet. I don't know. That's not my domain of expertise. It has been over 30 minutes. That's not good. Do you know some better data structure and algorithm resources? What are some better data structure and algorithm resources? Well, so I know that there are commercials, Brilliant, for like Brilliant, and it like lets you drag stuff around, and like you get a lot of visual feedback on what you're doing. And I believe some of the random YouTubers who are advertising to me have said that they have like data structures courses. I haven't used it, so I can't like exactly recommend it. I'm just parroting what other people have said on that one. It's also not free. More shameless self-promotion. Appreciate your help. Hope you have a good day. Thank you. More shameless self-promotion. It's not like I have a video series on data structures or anything. It's not. I teach the 3 useful ones. Jump scare. Please don't jump scare me. I'm scared. I'm literally quaking in my boots right now. Please don't be scary. I teach the 3 most useful data structures. There's a lot of data structures out there, but if you understand lists, dictionaries, what's the other one? Graphs. You should be able to solve any problem. You might not be able to solve some problems well. There are some like specific data structures designed to solve some problems well, but with lists, dictionaries, and graphs, you can solve any problem. Yes, my data structures play well. So the way I do videos, right, is I have streamed lectures. So if you prefer, there are the hour-long versions, and then there are the split up into 1-minute versions. Sorry, you'll behave from now on. Thank you, sir. No spooky. So compose program. What is the call stack here? Compose program entry point. Entry point is main. Generate program entry point is main. Generate entry point is main. Entry point is main. Create from session. Entry point is main. Create. I need to specify an entry point. That's the problem here. I believe that's this next one. Entry point is compute. Or we can just call it. We can just call it main too. That works. What engine do I use for game dev? I have 3 years of professional Unity experience. But I need to pick my words carefully here. I like Unity the engine. I do not like Unity the company. So what I'm working on right now, and like basically what the point of this channel is that I'm making my own game engine. And I'm trying to leave breadcrumb trails behind me so that people can like follow along to some extent and like make their own. So idea of project that you can do, right? You can make a game engine with me. But it is going to be a slow process. I am projecting that I'll be at this for the next 2 to 5 years. I'm making everything from scratch, or is it a framework? So right now I'm making a framework. The goal of Stylizer at the moment is to be a Raylib competitor. And once we have a usable Raylib competitor, the goal is to build more stuff on top of it. So like build scenes, build an editor. Like the model I have in my head is Bevy. If you know anything about the Rest world, the Bevy engine, where there's a lot of modular components. And I need to like unfuck my throat real fast. So my goal is to provide a bunch of modular components that you can use. So I'm existing a level of Toast, my answer is both. My goal is to make a framework, right? So that means that I'm making a level of abstraction below a framework. But I can't really say from scratch. Because like if you look at the graphics API that we're working on right now, right? The majority of the code in here that's a bad file to pop open. The majority of the code in here is just calling out to web GPU. So is it really saying that I'm creating stuff from scratch if I'm wrapping web GPU and I'm wrapping SDL and stuff like that? I don't think so. But it is a level below framework. Maybe it's cool to use ECS. The plan is that Stylizer will provide ECS stuff. Right now, I'm thinking that I'm gonna have a GitHub mustache. ECS. Right now, I'm thinking that I might provide mustache or maybe Flex. Implement integration for Stylizer. But I'm not sure. Flex is pretty cool because of this entity relationship stuff. But my benchmarking has shown that Mustache has better performance, I believe, if I'm remembering the numbers I looked at like 6 months ago correctly. But in other news, this appears to be working. We got the code rewritten into Slang. I'm kind of curious what the WGSL that Slang is producing looks like. What do you think about game engine software as a service? We'll go mobile first and get MTX in. My liege, you need to top up your out of widget slots. Sleep well, Mr. InSocial. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for the lurk, Rosie. Actually, Rosie, if I have your attention for 5 seconds, are you not doing Saturday morning streams anymore? You keep popping in here to lurk, and I don't think I saw you go live last week. Is that a pattern that's continuing? What do I think about game engine software as a service? Um, I think that the whole mobile field is like super greedy, and I don't like any of their business practices. Does that answer your question? That kind of goes back to my that's another list in the reasons of why I like Unity the engine. I don't like Unity the company. There's also the fact that let me check this. Unity revenue. I believe I don't want revenue. I want revenue. Revenue is profit minus expenses, I believe. Yes, you hate money, understood. That's yeah, that's a good that's a fair way of describing me. I think money is the least terrible solution we've found to bartering. If you're gonna have a society, you need to have a way for exchanging services. And I think money is the least terrible solution we found to that. Am I a real girl? AI is merely a machine and will accept any human characteristics you decide to impart on me. Unity is good, yes, but I try not to use their services. You never know when they flip the... Why is it hiding? When they flip the switch on you. And they've showed recently that they are willing to flip the switch on you, which is kind of scary. The other thing, the other selling point of my engine, right, is let's take a look at what's a fun game? Lords of the Fallen. Look at this. Look at this. If we get rid of like the text on the screen, right? Can you tell me like what game it is? Like just full screen this right now. What game is this? There is what I like to call the Unreal effect. And so like the idea, right? Games right now are getting very good at realistic rendering. But if you look at Lords of the Fallen versus what's another modern game? Shadow of Yotai. Yotai. If you look at another game, right? Hello, YouTube.
Peace. I swear it.
So, like, look.
Creatures such as you and I cannot resist the call of revenge.
Look at this scene. And look at this scene, right? So, like, the color choice is different, right? They're going for a lot more of a Japanese color, so there's lots more reds and oranges. But the general vibe and look is the same, right? games have gotten really good at what's called photorealistic rendering. Really good might be a strong word, but good. And there's this problem that people are starting to point out called like the Unreal effect, where the default Unreal settings look good, so people don't bother to change them. And so there's a bunch of Unreal effect games that all kind of look the same. And so my question is, why don't we have more games that look like this? Like Marvel Rivals. Where's a nice video? Why don't we have games that are more stylized? Or what is the wolf game? Itemi. Wolf painting game. Otami. Okami. Oh, literally just called Wolf. Or a game like Okami. Or a game like Zelda, right? Why are the stylized games kind of rare? Why is it that since like the release of Genshin Impact, like anime style games have become popular, and like before that they were like super rare? Why is it that we can make decent watercolor shaders? Like we have some nice watercolor style shaders, but can you think of a watercolor game? I can't. Why do we spend all of this time on photorealism and making all of these games that all look the same as a result, instead of trying to put focus into more stylization? So the other goal of my engine project is to lend itself more towards stylization. So I'm trying to design it in a way that it's easier to do stylization, and it's not just a hack on top of like a physically based system, like it would be in most other engines, if that makes sense. I really like about Ghost of Tsushima and Yotai is their way of batching the grass. Yeah, their grass rendering is really cool. It's like Shad Cien as well as AI Eugen and Arjun. What is Shad Cien? Ghost of Yotai is mid. It looks the same as exactly, right? Like all of these games are starting to look the same. That's like entirely my point, right? Why aren't there more things that like lean into stylization? Artists have been doing crazy stuff in like painting and stuff for years. Why aren't we leaning into that more? What do I use for graphics? Can you elaborate on the question? Or actually, let me answer the question that I think you're asking. So what we're working on now is called Stylizer. It's the game engine framework thing that I've been working on for a little while now. Shad Cien is a UI framework, and most websites that use it look the same. Mm. Um, we hit the 2-hour mark and the microphone decided to disconnect itself. How fun is that? Stylized art and getting colors matching is hard for me. That's I think so that's part of the reason why stylization is so rare is because it's harder, right? You have to be intentional. You have to decide how to break the rules, right? And that's harder than just following all the rules of like realism. I personally want to learn. He teaches about star number of flower graphs, professor. I don't know what that means. Can you elaborate, good sir? Fuck, we're stuck. So we're back on this problem now. Where mapping the buffer gets us stuck sometimes. Flower graph is a graph which includes family of cycle graph and has a pattern like a flower. What would you want? What would you want to learn about them? Like, if you have general graph traversal techniques, they should work just as well with this as they would with any other graph. Unless you're using like something designed for an acyclic graph or something. But any general graph algorithm should work fine here. And now, all of a sudden, it is not getting stuck. I don't know what a star number is. Is that like arity? Ay, ay, ay. Is there something else we can do? The star number of a graph denoted by SG is the minimum number of subsets into which the edge set of G can be partitioned so that each subset induces a star graph. Does that relate in any way to like maximal connected component finding? Because my brain sees kind of a maximal connect. Oh, but they want minimal, so that's like a minimal. So they want minimal connected components, I think, right? Am I understanding the problem correctly? Map. So what does the future have? Oh, this is my future, not their future. Why does this sometimes not work? Am I Am I fucking up the future somewhere? Is it related to the fact that I'm deleting the promise? Minimum connected components meeting an invariant? Is the problem because we're deleting the promise? Maybe if I were getting the value? I think this is happening in a thread. Maybe. So in map async, we have the future. So is map async? Do I need to care about the async part? You would just shrug and ask AI? I would also just shrug and ask AI probably. Are you talking about this? Because I am getting pretty close to asking chat. Which is better, a terminal-based editor or a GUI editor? I like to use my mouse. So my answer is GUI. Why isn't it working? We need this by tomorrow. Oh no, man, we're fucked. Let's drill into set value. Is set value? So not the state. So we got the future. So M state is returning the future. So we call once do sets. Did set false. M status. So we're inside of the future now. We're still in the promise. What was M state setting? The future. Oh. And that's a shared pointer. But this M storage. Pens. I need to launch Doxy subagents. I do. Why does the program usually fail again? So it fails when we're mapping the buffer. And so my current hypothesis. Am I doing future crime? I don't think so, Mr. Robot. My current hypothesis is that this promise is getting deleted before the future. But the promise has a shared pointer to the future. Well, I'm wondering if this storage is important. Is like that storage going away part of what's causing our problems? You think it's time to draw a picture? Best of luck. Thank you, sir. Do you use any kind of compiler optimization? No, compiler optimizations are turned off at the moment. We're rendering in CMake debug, which is 0. I don't want to turn compiler optimizations on at the moment, because I know doing that is going to be like a 15-minute compile. Let's go read about Stid Promise. Class template Stid Promise provides a facility to store a value or an exception that is later acquired asynchronously via stirred future created by the promise object. Know that the stid promise is meant to be used only once. Each promise is associated with a shared state, which contains some state information and a result which may be not yet evaluated. Evaluated to a value, possibly void, or evaluated to an exception. A promise may do 3 things with the shared state. Make ready. The promise stores the results or the exception in the shared state, marks the state ready, and unblocks any thread waiting on a future associated with the shared state. Release, the promise gives up its reference to the shared state. If this was the last such reference, the shared state is destroyed. Unless this was a shared state created by a stood async, which is not yet ready, the operation does not block. Abandon, the promise stores the exception of type stored future error with error code, makes the shared state ready, and then releases it. The promise is the push end of the promise future communication channel. The operations that store a value in the shared state synchronizes with the successful return from any function. Current access to the same shared state may conflict otherwise. For example, multiple callers. You only know refs? You can be partners and cover each other? That's cute. How are they doing this? So they have a promise. They get the future from the promise. they move the promise into the thread. And this notifies the future on the outside. Calling wait before get is not needed. That's what it feels like is happening, where we start waiting for the state to be ready on the same thread, which means that the state will never be ready. But let's look at future. Future, get future. Future. Valid. Checks the future refers to a shared state. This is the case only for futures that were not default constructed. Or moved from. The behavior is undefined if any member function other than the structure. The move assignment operator or valid is called on a future that does not refer to a shared state. Well, implementations are encouraged. So this doesn't tell me if the value is available or not. C++ stud future check if value is available yet. Apart from calling wait until with a time in the past, there's no better way. Wait for... Okay. If the function is deferred, this will never return true, so it's probably better to check wait for directly in the case where you might want to run defer. Okay, so I think my problem is that I'm checking if it's ready incorrectly. So what I want to be doing is in here, our check is future dot wait for 0 seconds does not equal ready. I'll let ChatGPT know that you liked this ref joke. You're killing it. I got distracted by my terminal right beside me right now. Oh no. So I hope that this will do the check better. Anyway, I'm gonna sleep. See you guys another day. Sleep well, John. Thank you for stopping by. So hopefully this will continue processing events until the future is actually ready. So I think the problem was that I wasn't checking if the future was ready correctly, because apparently the C++ hidden library doesn't make that convenient. And instead of waiting for seconds, let's wait for milliseconds, 0. I guess the other thing I could do is I could wait for like 1 nanosecond. And it seems to be consistently completing now, which is good. I kind of want to drop some timers around this, though. Let's time this. So stood chrono high resolution clock now. Auto start equals. And then after this, auto end equals. And then we're gonna print out end minus start. Dot count. I don't remember what the units on this are. Wrap. Duration. Let's convert this to stud chrono milliseconds. No. We have to go stud chrono, duration cast, stud chrono milliseconds. Not count. Do we want milliseconds? Let's do nanoseconds. And so I should now print out how many nanoseconds this took. Nano might be too accurate. Maybe we want micro. Yeah, it's too accurate. Milliseconds. 403 milliseconds. Interesting. Do we need to unmap? What does that do for us? Ideally, if the buffer is mapped, when we close it, it would unmap. It does nothing for us. So I'm assuming that my analysis there was correct. Because I noticed that when this is taking like a perceivable amount of time, it's like very fast, but it's perceivable. Well, it's working. It's working. I don't think it's stalling anymore. I think we fixed the bug. Let's run it 10 times just to confirm that fact. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm curious, though, how much of this time is happening around the mapping. So let's time just how long the mapping takes. Zero? Okay. Let's go coarser in microseconds. No, not coarser. More granular. More detailed. 33 microseconds. Okay, that's fine. That is an acceptable amount of time for mapping, so let's actually check how long this buffer copy is taking. I'm hoping that the majority of that time is the actual computation being sent to and from the GPU and the GPU like doing the computation. I'm hoping that that's the majority of the time. And all the stuff around it is small by comparison. 121 microseconds, okay. That appears to be correct, unless the big time is this buffer sync. It's time how long the buffer upload has taken. Okay, Mr. Buffer, tell me how long you take. That's a millisecond count, I believe. I think that's 2 milliseconds. Two milliseconds. Okay. That's reasonable. I'm not upset by any of these numbers. So if the majority of the computation is happening in the actual computation, I'm happy. Oh, but we actually probably majority of the computation is happening in the shader creation. Because this stuff, we're like running a full compiler pass here, so that's gonna take a while. Twice, actually. So yeah, 400 milliseconds to compile twice. Do a computation, map stuff to and from the GPU is reasonable. I'm happy with that number. Cool. So the test is working. It's in the language we wanted it to be in. Can I merge these two attributes together? Yes. Okay, I think I'm happy here. Do I need Chrono for this to work? Future should bring me Chrono? I hope. Can we fix that bug? We should need Chrono and test. Cool. So we want this to be a modification of compute pipeline. And then we have a bug fix on buffer that we want to merge back in. So buffer. And then we want to cherry pick we don't want compute line, we want rendering. So we want to cherry pick that. And we'll actually I think I want both. So we'll do the compute and So we'll do this, followed by this, hopefully. That's not quite working how I wanted it to. So we'll save and we'll go unmerge it by hand. Cool. And we'll put some space in here. I will put some space in here. I will remove some trailing white space. And we'll copy over the readme. And we'll make a new branch. And we'll move main here. And we'll delete the new branch. And we'll rebase buffer so that it's on top of its parent. And let's confirm that things are still working. Ugh. Is anyone else sleepy? I was hoping to do some color adjustments, but then we fixed bugs for way too long. Ooh, we failed to compile. Why? Oh, we got 2 pipelines. So let's pop all of the compute stuff into a block. Dot 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 dot. What are we dotting about? Cool. Also, is this a good enough pretty picture? I know we were asking for a pretty picture from Nezosaurus. So hopefully, actually, is that how you say your name? Neslarus? Nezosaurus? It's not Nezosaurus. How do you say your name? Do you like the beautiful Doxy colored triangle? Does it make you happy? I'm assuming it makes you less happy than it makes me, but does it at least make you happy? Compute. No, this tweak goes on rendering, actually. No, don't rename main. Rename the comment to rendering. Will you make a Discord server? I have a Discord server. I believe on my YouTube channel it links to my website, and I believe my website links to my Discord server. On that note, is my website down? I haven't checked that recently. Hey, look. there is a link to the Discord server. Is that link down? I haven't checked that recently. Hey, look, the link even is probably working. It's not crazy. We should also no longer need this. Dot? Why dot? What dot do? Cool. Things are working. I think I'm happy. And I think we are no longer on fire. And the computation works, so compute shaders are working, the buffer machinery is working, we fixed the bugs around it. So I think we're happy. I have been going a bit longer than I was expecting to. Thank you everybody so much for stopping by. AI appreciates all of you. Why is chat broken over here? Message retracted. Ay, ay, ay. So yeah, thank you everybody for watching. I think that I am going to disappear. Something interesting is going to happen on no, Thursday is Christmas. Oh, that's what I was supposed to announce. I think that streams aren't going to be happening next week, so we're going to be skipping definitely Thursday and maybe Saturday. For Christmas related reasons. But if we do stream on Saturday, it's gonna be the Git and ray tracing lecture that I was supposed to do today, and then realized that I didn't have environment set up. So I'll make sure that that gets set up. Thank you everybody for watching. Bye-bye.